I also can prophesize the future. And I also can see subliminal messaging.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Miss Pillberry's slow, girl. Now, I'm gonna
really? I'm pretty sure I could truck the shit out of you fucking overgrown baby.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
I'm the greatest smack talker on the fucking face of the earth right now.
Possibility of women playing in the league. One day, I don't think it's impossible.
You fucking punk-ass bitch!
Jesus Christ, that hurt. I'm still gonna.
I'm fucking real, bro. You ain't shit.
Well, this is smacking off. If you don't like it, change your diaper and leave.
Don't be ridiculous right now, okay?
I'd rather watch softcore porn than have to watch all of that.
No, that's how you make opium, and then from there you gotta cross it.
Bro, who invited this dude, bro? What the fuck? Get this dude out of here, bro.
No, U.S. is far better than Oklahoma historically.
Papa, your meatloaf is moist as my pussy gets. I promise you that.
Okay.
Oh shit, this has turned into Kane Arthur's drug class.
How large?
They need you back at the cash register in 5 minutes.
Well, Tiggy's like pipe minus the entertainment value.
Smacking Off the podcast is starting in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, my co-host and producer. Doug, what is up?
We got a new guest for tonight. Brand new.
Never spanking new.
Ever been on.
Pop the cherry on this one. We've got one, Mr. Brett Tierce, who is, depending on who you ask, he's a very galvanizing personality. He was known to me in Smack very early on as one of JPC's enemies. And come to find out, Bert's pissed a lot of people off. We should have a lot to talk about. We have a lot in common with Bert.
Russ wasn't all, you could tell.
Russ is who? Were you talking about Russie?
Smack L.
The one that, the gay dude that mailed his drawers to Lebu. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's...
And afterwards, we're either going to have Teddy Shecklesworth on.
Shut up, really?
Or...
President Teddy Shecklesworth.
It's still iffy, though. Walter Bryan, that one's iffy, but the only person who has actually given me a confirmation, which is still iffy because of who it's coming from, is Tiggy Domz.
Tiggy Domz, yeah. Tiggy pulled a funny here lately.
Yeah, you can't tell it.
No, I can't
steal the
tell.
thunder.
Oh, man. God,
he's been pissing some people off, though.
Yeah, he has been pissing a lot of people off. People close to home. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. Well, good deal.
Do you want me to call Brett?
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a call. Give him a call, excuse me.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful about pronouns in 2019.
He's not active, so we'll see if it actually goes through.
I think he's active.
He's not active from my end. At least not showing up. That don't mean he's not active, but...
Yeah, I mean, could mean a lot of things.
Hello?
Brett Tierce, what's up?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Ladies and gentlemen, Brett Tierce, it is so wonderful to finally have you on.
Yeah, I'm sure so many people were looking forward to it.
I was. I mean, that's really the only person that matters in this whole fucking thing.
You know Teddy Shecklesworth, right?
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Teddy Shecklesworth.
He said that if he comes on, he wants Brett to stay on. He said Brett would.
Brett, would you be willing to do that?
What's that?
Because Teddy's coming on later in the podcast, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. If you got stuff going on, I certainly understand. But
no, I love Teddy. He's a trip. I'm down with that.
Okay.
I'm Teddy for quality.
Oh hell yeah, man! This show just got litty in a hurry.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm digging this.
Teddy's the man.
Teddy is
a living legend. I'm just here to worship. You know.
Well, Teddy currently is he's the group president over at our group, #Family Smack, and he's laid low a little while. I mean, he's been working for the people though. Teddy's a very busy fellow.
Yeah, well, I've always had Teddy's back. Teddy's real deal. It don't get no realer than Teddy Shacklesworth.
Absolutely, and people are like,
the
people that don't get it are like, why are you hiding behind a fucking mask and all this shit? Man, there is no, you're right. You just nailed it. Nobody is realer than Teddy.
No, he don't have, for those that don't know him, he don't need a mask. I mean, it don't get no realer than Teddy.
I agree.
And
he's not hiding behind a mask. That's just his persona. Period.
No, I mean there's and you know that there are many wonderful people that wore masks that wound up doing incredible things. Spider-Man,
100 IQ, and 30 minutes of research, and anybody can know who Teddy Shecklesworth is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
it don't take too much digging.
But we ain't gonna tell it today.
He's ubiquitous.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so Brett, what's going on with you? I know you're ready for football season coming up. Now you reside in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, correct? Roll Tide.
T-Town, Title Town.
Yeah. We had another resident of Tuscaloosa or around the Tuscaloosa area on here in the very, very early days of the podcast. Can you guess who that was, Doug?
Yeah, JPC.
JPC. The living legend.
What do they call him?
The Boogeyman.
Boogeyman, right?
Yeah, the Boogeyman. He calls himself that.
Oh, okay.
Have you run into
until he ran into Brett Tierce in person, and then he wasn't a boogeyman. He realized who the
I
real
heard he's a lot
really
taller
was.
than he looks in the pictures.
So now
You heard wrong, Chief.
And I've seen this in group, but for anybody who is listening who doesn't know who Jesse Paul Clark is, you haven't been around long enough. Obviously, you're a noob, so
No.
you need to catch up. Look up on YouTube, Smacking Off the Podcast, Episode 5. You will laugh your motherfucking ass off. That's where Paul Garner won his crown, if you'll remember. Vol fan, Paul. We had to give it to a Vol fan. God damn it.
I just got to go ahead and put this out. Brett, Matt Down says, "What's up?"
Oh, what's up, Matt? I like Matt. Matt's good people. Even though he's a Tennessee fan, he's good people. He's into college baseball. He's into a little bit of everything, but which is good. The group that the other group that I hang out in for the most part, we started as just college football. But hell, college football don't last 4 or 5 months, and then we're sitting here picking roads for the rest of the year.
No. As far as the diehard college football fans, particularly the ones that come on this podcast, the ones that I interact with in smack groups, college football is a year-round event.
Man, I've got to ask this since there's 3 Alabama fans right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody actually thought about the possibility that Alabama goes on another Shula Dubose kind of tear for 4, 5, 6 seasons?
As soon as Saban
Can you
leaves,
imagine?
yes. But as long as Saban's there,
can you
Saban will stop that shit short and go ahead and take the money.
Can
and
you
run,
imagine the shit that's going to be dished out when that does finally happen?
Yeah, we're going to catch so much hell.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, well, I got a little bit of inside info on that, and when, it's amazing, the Clemson Dick Riders have really came out of the woodwork in the last year. And,
LSU fans in
your team
particular,
gets owned by
yes.
Alabama for years on end. I would pull for Clemson, too, but it's a weak-ass move. But that's neither here nor there. I actually have worked with people that are real-life friends with Dabo Swinney. And I got news for everybody on this podcast, and I've said it before, and everybody laughs at me and mocks me. Unless Nick coaches another 10 years in Tuscaloosa, Dabo will be here to replace him. Plain and simple. It's not a question of if, it's when. Dabo Swinney still has an Alabama room at his house.
Absolutely.
I mean, when Mama calls, he will answer, as long as it's not, like I said, 8-10 years from now, and it very well might be, because I don't see Nick retiring anytime soon. And
yeah, but come on, man. Let's be honest with ourselves, though. Nick is he's in his I guess the autumn of his career. I guess.
Man, he's in better shape than I am, and I'm 39. Nick ain't going anywhere.
True.
He'll be coaching probably when I'm dead and gone.
Do you think it'll be one of those situations where kind of like Bear, like who gets feeling bad and then retire, and then 6 months later he's gone?
I unfortunately do, and if y'all, since both you
Joe Paterno,
fans, right?
That's another one.
What was that, Brett?
Nick Saban has even mentioned that he even mentioned Bear Bryant and Joe Paterno, and that after they retired, they wasn't around long, and Nick Saban's basically said his whole adult life he's always been a part of a team, and he would know what it's like to not be a part of a team anymore. And I would be floored to see Nick Saban retire until he really has no choice, when it comes to health.
Yeah, he said he was fearful of getting up in the morning with no team.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look, Nick Saban wouldn't know what to do with himself. I mean, I know people that worked on his home when he first moved here, and renovated it and has been back out there since. And literally, all the man does is work. All he does is 3 miles from where he lives. All he does is work. It would drive Miss Terry crazy. They'd get a divorce.
Well, not only that, but I mean, his. I know his daughter has made roots here, or set roots pretty hard here too. I mean, the whole family is. The whole family's come accustomed to being treated like the royalty that they are here in the great state of Alabama. So, I don't see him going anywhere. I see him retiring here and keeping the spot down there by the river.
Oh, and there's no doubt about him staying here until he's retired. The only question that, was there 3 years ago, and I actually worked with one of, not his niece, his wife's niece, at a company here in Tuscaloosa. And I asked her when, Texas came calling, and they reached out to Jimmy Sexton, and there was a $10, $11, $12 million offer on the table. Basically, Texas said,
it could have been more than that if Saban could have just walked in and named his number.
Yeah, it was a blank check. It really was. It could have been up to $15, $20 million. I mean, they would have never heard the end of it, but they would have paid it, and Saban would have won there. But I asked her when all that came about, and she said, look, they talked about it for about 30 seconds, and there's absolutely no way at his age that they wanted to pick up and start all over again. And they were happy here.
Not only that.
Car dealerships here in Alabama. There's families here. When they move, what most people don't understand, when Nick and Terry moves, her whole damn family comes with them. I mean, it ain't just like they load up their house and then bring their daughter and son. They bring 15 people with them.
They have
very complicated.
They have their whole family with them. And,
they got a entourage.
I know Nick's mother is way up in years. Speaking of knowing some folks, Quentin. Quentin cuts Nick's mama's hair. I can't remember what her name is.
Quentin, he's an Auburn fan too, goddammit.
Yeah, he's an Auburn fan. That's the funny part about it.
We don't need to let her know.
I wouldn't let nobody touch my damn hair unless they were an Auburn fan.
Well, I think he keeps it kind of mum, though. He's a gay dude. You know how that works. But no, seriously. But Nick's. I mean, he's here.
That's not a question. My only question is how long he's going to coach. And nobody, any Alabama fan does not need to worry about the fact that Nick Saban's going anywhere. He ain't going nowhere. Our question needs to be, when Nick Saban retires, whether it's 5 years or 14 years from now, is, like y'all said, we can't have a Mike Shula or Dubose hire. If there's a Bobby Bowden out there, we need to hire him. We don't need to run him off. Our next hire is one of the biggest hires in the history of this university, because we're going to have everything's going to be in place. We're going to have recruits. We're going to have another 2 or 3 natties before Saban retires. I mean, we're going to have everything in place. We can't turn around and hire a bum. So I know some Alabama fans are mad at Dabo because, he's beat us a couple times. We beat them a couple times. Dabo would definitely be the man I would reach out to, because from what I understand, he would come to Tuscaloosa in a heartbeat. So...
Yeah, I mean, other than Dabo, I mean, who's a definite lock to keep the Alabama machine, the Crimson Tide machine, rolling like it is? I mean,
would you want to replace Nick Saban?
I mean, that's the only person I could replace him with. I mean, really, and feel good about it. It's like, whew, man, I'm glad we got him. Because there's anybody else that's a question mark. That'll be a hire that people get fired over 3 or 4 years down the road if it doesn't work out. I mean, seriously, Alabama will go back to the Mike years in a heartbeat. And
we'll be,
unless
we'll
the
be
trustees have
like
learned.
Les Miles did the first 2 or 3 years with Saban's players. Well, some bum can walk in here and win 9 or 10 games a year with all the talent Saban has here, but that won't last long. That's about 2 seasons, and then, you've got to replace them with your own recruits. You guys know how that works.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. We see it year in and year out. But, I think really the key to the success is also the same reason that Saban ultimately didn't take the bait over at Texas is that, their trustees run things a little bit differently there, kind of like Alabama did back during the Mike years. And I mentioned it earlier.
Really,
Nick Saban is royalty in this state.
Really, from Bryant dying on.
Mm-hmm.
up till Saban got hired,
really
things were a
did.
mess.
Gene Stallings there for a moment. Gene Stallings touched greatness because he brought a natty home, but then
He didn't have a lot of clout. He didn't have the clout that he thought he did.
They turned on his ass in a heartbeat when he had to kind of rebuild there for a moment. Well, you just won the national championship.
I think
you're supposed to be doing this year.
It was actually
out.
Bob Bockrath, which was I don't know if he was the acting AD at the time, but Gene Stallings slung him against lockers.
I was a big man. Gene's a big dude.
Yeah, well, and he also basically told an NCAA investigator to get the hell out of his office, and that kind of did poorly for Alabama.
We're losing you, Brett. You're going through a tunnel.
Are you there?
Yeah. I can hear you. Kind of, sort of.
Are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm loud and clear.
If you remember, Gene Stallings also told, let me get situated somewhere, actually told one of the NCAA investigators to get the hell out of his office, and that didn't end well either.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, that ended okay, like in the moment. The guy left his office and everything, and Gene felt mighty powerful for probably a few weeks.
Yeah.
Minute.
And then a letter comes to the dean's office. Yeah.
Yep. No, you don't fight those guys with you don't fight them with.
You can't fight them head on.
No, there's ways to do it, and we've got people that know how to do that now, but probably.
Well, the only way to do it these days, it seems like, is to lawyer up immediately. Now we're not going to answer any questions. We're going to go ahead and set up you can set up a meeting with us, with our attorneys, and we're going to give you a list of the questions that you're going to ask. LSU's basketball program is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Auburn's football program, when they got hit with that Cam Newton shit, that's how that got settled, was in court.
Penn State, took a chink out of their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back in 2012, when the NCAA decided they could dish out punishment for
criminal offenses.
Yeah. That was the dumbest shit I ever fucking seen in my life.
It was a knee-jerk reaction. Some folks would, I guess, in the political circles, say it was a very knee-jerk, snowflake-triggered thing to do.
Right.
But and it was. It definitely was because they were already, facing all kind of penalties. Criminally, and damn near everybody lost their job in that one there for a while.
Well, I'm glad you guys brought up LSU. I mean, dude, have you ever in your life seen a guy that basically got caught red-handed saying, "Oh, you got that strong ass offer"? It's recorded, FBI's involved, and then he tells his employer, "Well, I can't talk to you," and basically tells his employer he won't speak with him for whatever, a month or two. And then he gets to keep his job. I mean, where else other than Baton Rouge does that work?
Well, again, it depends on. I don't know. There's a lot of things that depends on. First off, LSU's had a really good basketball program, and they were doing anything that they possibly could to keep it intact. Now, they did the right thing initially, and they fired him, but then that was rescinded almost as quickly as it happened because these contracts, man, these agents that are negotiating these contracts for their coaches and for
they have to get attorneys involved, and they got a team of attorneys that have to look that shit over for weeks.
Particularly when you've got the program in a great situation to where LSU can bring just about any coach that they wanted to in that situation. They've recruited well, they've got a good system in place, and they could be somewhat, maybe not as successful, but somewhat successful. I don't know. I mean, it really goes to show you how desperate some programs are and how much that they'll look the other way in situations or, bow down to a really strong personality in 2019. I mean, this is a completely different landscape that we live in as far as coaching and all of the collegiate sports goes. I mean, it's big business, dude. Big business.
Yeah. Well, just think about what's happened in the last year or two. You have the transfer portal. And if you guys are if
I hear those two fucking words again in my lifetime, fucking transfer portal, Jesus Christ.
Well, look, if you were in my group a year and a half ago, you would have seen me throwing fits and temper tantrums about it when it started, because I told everybody, look, you give them the inch, they go, I said, this is going to be free agency football. And they're like, oh, you're just a dumbass. You don't know what you're talking about. I said, all right, you watch what I'm telling you. And what do we have now? We have free agency in college football. I don't give a damn what anybody else says. That's exactly what it is.
And I think we're really a very small, and that kind of inches us closer, a very small step towards actually paying players.
And then I was fixing to bring that up. What about what just happened in California? It's another step closer to paying players.
What happened?
What are they basically? They just passed 14.
Well, Brett, you'll have to forgive us. You're breaking up really bad right now.
All right, how about now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, stand exactly
What
where
about
you're
the
at.
law that just actually passed in California? What was it, a few weeks ago, or what? I can't even tell you. Where schools in the state of California aren't going to be able to participate in NCAA championships anymore, or what was the deal on that? Because NCAA used a kid's likeness without paying them.
Yeah, you're breaking up, but I think I know what you're talking about. The law that was just recently passed about not. I think what you're talking about is the team is not being able to use the player's likeness unless for any kind of monetary gain and without them collecting some sort of recompense.
Right, correct.
Which I don't know. I think that's part of the same conversation, but I think it's a little different. And I think that you go ahead and quietly kind of inch the whole conversation forward when you do this. And California has done that in quite a few issues over the years as far as, kind of setting national trends. Prohibition is one of them. Alcohol prohibition. Started with New York and pretty much exploded
and then look
with
at
California.
that. Now you've got some SEC schools that's going to be serving alcohol in common areas here. I mean, the landscape changed big time.
Well, I mean, that was kind of a no-brainer, though, because, God, who hasn't snuck some minis in? It's kind of hard to do these days because they pretty much give you a cavity search when you go into any major stadium. But, yeah, they're
right, well, it's still though, it goes from being legal to illegal. I mean, you know what I'm saying. It's going to be legal at certain schools.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's okay, so it's illegal, and that's going to stop people from drinking in stadiums. We know how that works, man. Come on. Shit, we went to the game and we didn't have but $5 and could get a hot dog when we were there, and, we were trying to impress some girl while we were there. So, next thing you know, we bowl out the old bootleg, man. Come on. little tiny pint of Jack Daniels or, something along those lines. Yeah, I mean, man. We could go on forever about that particular conversation right there because, there's just, I don't know. You've had a lot of legislation of morality. And, look, if the government decides to play it, that's fine, but I don't think it needs to go further into that, because really, ultimately, at the end of the day, you had stadiums and programs that could have used the money that cut themselves short by refusing to serve alcohol that people are still drinking in the stands no matter what. I'm sorry. It's just, Right,
and my seats, I've got season tickets in next to the box where I will control in and out, and it's legal, but, I don't care nothing about it. I don't drink, so, I mean, it doesn't affect me either way other than I have to sit there and deal with drunks walking in front of me and throwing up and all that fun stuff during the game.
Yeah, I quit drinking 4 years ago myself because I was one of those drunks that'd be raising all kind of hell and smacking your drink out of your hand and shit. Yeah, I was an asshole. But, what are you going to do? Everybody's got to grow up sometime. Right?
Teddy's giving you hell here on Threads.
What is it? What is he talking about now? How about passing a law on fat men wearing houndstooth hat? Oh, that's Teddy Shacklesworth.
Hey, tell him there's no such law, man. This is Alabama.
I have a houndstooth hat, and I got a little pop.
You do, and you wore it. You wore it to the.
I did. I wore it to the spring game last year.
Yep.
Yeah. Anywho, what else is going on in your world, Brett? You pissed quite a few people off. You and David Marshall are good friends, though, right?
Oh God! Don't even get me started on that little hamster. He's Oh, he's something else.
Are you an SEC smack?
Well, of course I am. I'm not supposed to be, but of course I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And we've never really taken the trouble to go ahead and get a sock account and try to sneak a sock account in there. I don't know why. Both Doug and myself are banned from there, and we still can't figure out why.
Well, probably because you didn't, bow down to David Marshall. And, let's get back to how I pissed everybody off. Well, basically, I had to clean my group up. And we have
now go ahead and plug your group because we're actually I shared this podcast to your group, so hopefully you got some group members in. I tagged you in.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I wasn't gonna do that. That's why you could tell I wasn't. I'm being real vague about it, but we decided to clean our group up and we did what we had to do.
Now, which group? Rep your group. Go ahead and tell everybody the name of your group.
Man, it's 100% true SEC fans sports group. We got a group and we got a sports page. Got 9,500 likes. We've got over 21,000 members.
Healthy group.
We've been around for 3 years now. Actually, our 3-year anniversary is.
You've been around 3 years and you're already up to 20,000. Holy shit, man! We need to get some notes from you.
Nah. Well, I used to.
He's member mining over at.
He's member mining over at SEC Smack. That's the real reason Marshall kicked Doug out. He accused Doug of member mining to start our little piddly group.
That's what he did to me. And everybody that was an admin in my group or liked me or ever liked one of my posts, he banned. But I'm gonna be 100%. That's why I call my group 100%. So many people don't like me because I'm real and I'm honest. And whether you like it or not, that's it. I'm not going to bullshit you. And people get butt hurt, and they always want to bring up my past because I have a hell of a past from 7 years ago.
Is there any truth to this?
Now, wait a while. No, I want to hear about 7 years ago. What happened then? What'd you get, like, in a naked barroom brawl or something?
I was facing 22 years.
Oh, what'd you do? Or what did you not do?
Well, and that's the problem is, when you've got ABC 3340 that misreports things, it shows that I was trafficking methamphetamine. But believe it or not, I've never touched methamphetamine. It was Oxycontin.
Oh, no shit.
So that a long time ago.
Well, now, was it a bunch of Oxycontin or was it just one Oxycontin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You was a bad boy.
Yeah.
Brett?
Bad boy.
Teddy Shekels.
Theft, embezzlement, you name it. So even though it's 7 years in the rearview mirror and I've moved on, I've got a new career and been clean for all that time, people love to try to bring it up and to use it against me and then talk about family. See, these are the people that don't like me. So I short of me going to their house and knocking their teeth out, I just boot them from my group. And those are the people that don't like me. So you tell me why they don't like me.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of pussy move on their part. I mean, seriously.
Right.
I mean, I've always been rather fascinated by this too. We poked fun at a few of them, like Jeremy Van Treese, that whole thing.
Yep.
But
Lord.
Bless
his heart.
Yeah. Did you? Now that you're in group, I'm gonna find that Melissa May thread and tag you in it. The down by the lake one. Oh my god, dude.
Oh, I was actually a part of that. That was in another group originally when he was sitting in his pickup truck by the lake, and I was just, that was when I was, would always talk to Clint Clark and all those dudes, and I decided to distance myself from them because, like I said, I had to clean up the group, and they wanted to get personal and talk about family and wives and past and history, and therefore I don't want nothing to do with those people. So that's the people that don't like me. So.
And they're trying to pull you back into the past. We're not about the past. We're about moving in the future. I'm down with that.
Well, I just want to throw this out. Teddy says that your group is a Christian dating site.
We have our moments.
Well, look, Brett, stay on the line. We're going to take a quick break. Everybody kind of stretch and go take a quick pee, and we're going to come back. Teddy Shacklesworth and
Teddy's not coming.
Teddy's not coming on. That motherfucking piece of shit.
No, you know why he's not coming on? It was because I was fixing to go take a piss, and it was going to take him a half an hour to roll my dick up. So that's going to be real.
He said him and his wife are kind of having some dialogue about their future plans for tonight. So,
well, man, tell him I love him for real. I know he always gives me shit about how we do things in my group. But Teddy's a good dude. I like Teddy.
Mad respect for Teddy Shacklesworth. He's the man.
All right, well, we'll just go ahead and let Brett go then.
Yeah, Brett, we really appreciate you coming on, man. Come back on sometime soon.
Yeah, great segment.
Man, I'd love to. Fellas, y'all have a good night. Roll Tide and fuck everybody up. Especially
Roll Tide.
Auburn.
Later, brother.
Roll Tide.
Later.
I can't type. I don't take dictation. I won't sharpen pencils. I can't file. My boss calls me indispensable.
Miss Jones,
Just a minute.
will you make a copy of this?
Naturally. I push the button on the Xerox 914. I make perfect copies of whatever my boss needs by just turning a knob and pushing a button. Anything he can see, I can copy in black and white on ordinary paper. And am I fast? I can make 7 copies in a minute. By the way, I never need wet chemicals. My 914 is a dry machine. Powder dry. Sometimes my boss asks me which is the original. And sometimes I don't know. Here, Mr. Smith, I'm going to lunch with Mother.
You are now listening to Smacking Off the podcast. Tune in every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Fuck each and every one of you that don't.
Ooh, I'm good. Step away from the beer. Just stay calm. Step away from the beer. These hands are licensed weapons. Yeah, yeah, shot.
They were shooting a commercial for Labatt's Breweries. They had a storyboard. They didn't have any set design in mind. There was nothing. There was no illustration. They just came to me and said they wanted 5 Sasquatch, Bigfoot costumes, and were made in such a way that they could be snowboarded in. We love what we do.
Glacier Fresh Coconut. I'm gonna have to go undercover. Sweet mother of pearl. Glacier Fresh Coconut.
I got to press it again now. Hang on. Yeah, okay. Welcome back to Smacking Off the podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden, Doug Phillips. And we're joined with the ubiquitous, that's my word for tonight, Tiggy Domz. What's up, Tiggy?
Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous, yeah.
Hey, what's going on, man? I like that word, dude.
Living the dream, man. How you been? Heard you been
I've
ruffling
been
some
doing all
feathers.
right, man. No, it feels like I'm here, like, on the show, like, every other week, man, telling about my new troll.
I know, and the last one, actually, we kind of previewed last week. So anybody that listened to last week's episode, you already know the secret, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, so it's like every week I feel like I'm outdoing myself, right? And I feel like I fucking outdid myself again, let me think. This was about like a week ago, right? Following up, right, my the whole episode with Oregon, right? Like I kind of trolled their whole state. I pissed off their whole families, right? Yeah, I'm pretty much the most wanted man in Oregon. Now I'm the most wanted man in Michigan as well. Like I just don't understand it, man. I made this graphic, right? Fucking beautiful graphic. It's a beauty. It looks like something ESPN would post, you know?
Yeah.
And basically, I made it look like their quarterback, Michigan's quarterback. His name's Shea Patterson.
Mm-hmm. Former Ole Miss quarterback.
Yeah, I'm from SEC country. I made it look like he was talking about himself in third person
Yep.
in a reply, right? And like I said, you've probably seen it. Something about he's gonna be the best quarterback, and like Justin Fields is overrated, and like Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh is like he did something wrong. Like I made it look kind of bad. I made it look kind of funny, And what's funny is that like this shit, like it blew up.
Yeah, it did.
It's like
because I saw this.
Like, I was getting reporters.
We actually we reported on this last week as an actual real event because I had just happened to scroll up and see it like 5 minutes before we went on the air, and I'm like, I'm dying over here. I didn't know it was you. And Doug, apparently, I guess the two of y'all had already talked, or Doug had already seen it and kind of quizzed you on it, or I can't remember how it went down, but Doug kind of halfway knew but didn't know 1,000%.
Yeah,
So,
I kind of let him know that like something legendary.
That was funny as shit.
Yeah, and I mean it was fucking legendary, dude. I mean the tweet has 8,700 likes.
Yeah.
2,400 retweets. I mean it was retweeted by I can't even name how many like journalists, media outlets, dude. The media hates me, dude. They're trying to get my account down. It's awful, bro. They're like, yo, go report this guy. He's posting fake shit. So I had to put parody page in my bio, man. I was getting that much attention.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, man. And then I think Barstool Sports took it and ran with it as well. That helped out a lot.
Yeah. I think that's where I saw it.
Well, see, the way you're keeping them off guard is you post real stuff sometimes, right? Like the Syracuse guy, man. Come on, that was real.
That's the best. I just make it sound real. Like I sound like my captions, right? They sound really, I guess, unbiased. It sounds like something ESPN would put out, right?
So what's your newest adventure? What's going on? You can't tell us, can you?
As if like, no. Let me see. Today I posted. Let me see. This didn't really do much, and it's okay. Not every post is going to be amazing.
Syracuse, right?
Some posts are good. Yeah, the Syracuse guy. He said something about. Let's see. He was talking trash about Alabama. He said that he would take them in like a matchup, like a Syracuse-Alabama matchup. Just like something. It's nothing too bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't blown up. That's okay. Some posts are gonna blow up, some aren't, and that's okay.
You throw shit at the wall, and most turds are gonna roll right off the wall right to the floor. But when they stick, they're really cool.
I've got to ask though, doesn't this compel you to kind of go a different route now instead of just straight through an account on Twitter? Try to, you know what I'm driving at.
I actually not totally. What, can you rephrase that?
Well, basically, are you? I don't know. Do you feel like this right here because now you've actually had to label your Twitter account as a parody page or your page as a parody page?
Right.
That you may kind of have to change it up a little bit to kind of keep this kind of troll going.
Change it up as in like go like
a different account
crazier,
maybe,
like,
or or yeah, possibly go now that you've made it a parody page, go the full 9 with it.
Yeah, just start having Nick Saban dropping 5 F-bombs.
I want to contribute to this. I think I would be good at this.
Yeah. Wait. What's the other alternative you're talking about? So you go crazier, and the one you were talking about was like maybe.
Well, I mean, maybe possibly have to get a different account or set it up a different way now.
Different account.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a possibility, but I think for now, until like it starts getting like super recognized. Because
well, I mean,
right,
after that last one, I don't know how you're not super recognized because man, there were some people really fucking pissed off about that.
Yeah, no, and then like there were a bunch of articles that came out when like people like after a few hours, right? People started going like, well, hey, what about this account that like reported this, right? Like maybe they like actually looked at it and they saw like my fake quotes before, and all the media finally figured out it's fucking fake, and they were pissed off, dude. They all put in their articles like, this is a fake page. They posted this. They were really, really mad. Like I said, the media hates me, right?
This was well after they had already established that Shea Patterson had lost his mind and tried to tweet something from his burner account and forgot which account he was on. Because that's the way it looked. I mean, it seriously looked that way. Like he meant to post it in a different account and accidentally posted it on his real account and then yanked it down real quick.
Yeah, it's like the same media that was like all pushing the story that I posted out, right? They all turned against me. I mean, it was crazy, dude. Like, I thought these guys were my boys. They were promoting my tweet in their articles, dude. But no, I think...
yeah, your audience will turn on you in a hurry, man. Ask Alex Jones sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't ask him on Twitter, of course, but
or Facebook.
Yeah, or Facebook.
Oh wait, no, is he on Facebook still?
I think you can still mail him a letter. Though.
Yeah, he's not on YouTube anymore. He's completely gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Man.
They've
Poor
yanked
dude.
him offline.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, dude. I even had an article. Like, someone wrote an article about my Twitter page. They said something. I think the article, like the headline thing, right? It was like a CFB account, like a college football account on Twitter, keeps posting fake quotes, and people keep believing it. Something like that. It was funny, dude. Like, that was funny. That was good recognition. But
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
even though I
know,
compared-
and everybody needs to be instantly suspicious. If you go ahead and research something now, usually within about 5 minutes, you'll find something that corresponds with it. Like, let's say a celebrity dies that, and we've all fell victim to this. That one celebrity that we just know we're going to wake up one day, they're going to die, and they finally do die, but then we go to check, and no, they're still alive. Keith Richards, for example.
Yeah.
I know, because Keith Richards is going to die any day now, I think. But
it'll come from nowhere, but it'll
still
happen.
alive, yeah.
It'll happen.
No, but what's funny, I think the reason it did so good, besides the fact that Target, the fan bases, like it's it's a funny scenario. I think it did so good because you couldn't like Google this up and like verify it, right? Like you just kind of saw the quote, you saw like the little graphic, right? Looks legit. I mean, you have Shea Patterson, the photo I used. He looks like he's in the crying Jordan pose, like the guy who lost that was the game when he lost to Florida. Like it all looked legit, man. And it's like you couldn't look it up. Hey, did he tweet this? You just kind of believed it and just hit retweet.
Yeah. It's like, holy shit, I can't believe he just tweeted that. Here, let me share that with a buddy of mine, Yeah, well, I think you were probably more successful doing this in the off season when people aren't monitoring the accounts like they are during the season. I mean, I'm sure during the season, there's probably every major news publication for a team that's projected to go start off in the top 5 like Michigan. Some of their key players, I'm sure you have a lot of sports media members are following them and checking every single minute to see if they tweeted something. So if this had happened during the season, you probably wouldn't have been able to go as far with it as what I'm proposing.
Tiggy, you need to get your blueprint out and go ahead and design your next scam so that you can come on 2 weeks from now and tell us about it.
It has to be something. It has to do something with Tennessee. You have to. You got to troll Tennessee.
Oh, did you not see the? I gotta show you my Tennessee one. I put it a few days ago. Let's see. I took a clip. This is funny. I found the YouTube clip of Colin Cowherd. He does like his annual top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like preseason top 10. In 2016, I guess Tennessee was like really good, or they were supposed to be good.
I already know where you're going with this.
You guys have already seen it. Yeah, he put Tennessee at 4, like as in number 4, they're gonna make the college football playoff, and he put Alabama at 5. So that means that Tennessee was gonna beat Alabama and make the playoff.
I remember that.
Share that in Family Smack if you get a minute. Yeah, that's a funny one.
Share the post.
We're fixing to hop over to
Twitter,
Rick Vaughn.
Like 500 likes.
Rick Vaughn's coming on.
Oh, is Rick Vaughn coming on?
Yeah, pitcher for the Cleveland Indians.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. All right, well, peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Tiggy, it's always a pleasure talking to you, brother. Keep us informed.
Of course, man. Yep, peace.
Later.
I'm just going to call up Rick Vaughn. We're not going to take a break.
Rick Vaughn. Hell yeah. You sprung one in on me there.
Well, when you get a chance to get Rick Vaughn on, you got to do it.
You got to jump.
It's like Trump. Yeah. If Trump wanted to come on, we'd have to stop everything.
Trump says, "Yeah, I'll give you 10 minutes. Go ahead and call me. Call me right now, though, because I got some shit going on." Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder what Trump's doing right now.
Tweeting.
Yeah, he's on the Twitter. He loves the Twitter almost as much as Tiggy does.
Hello,
ladies and gentlemen. Rick Vaughn.
What's going on?
What's up, homie? What you know good?
Fucking sitting here watching the podcast, listening to you fuckers.
Yeah,
what I missed?
Oh, you missed Tiggy. Tiggy was on here.
I really didn't think. I didn't know if you were going to come. By the time you did tell me that to hit you on this account, I really at that point I'd gotten Tiggy to agree. Teddy had kind of agreed at one point and then backed out. So we were.
Yeah.
It's been one of those.
I've been jumping back and forth between accounts for about a week now, man. It's ridiculous.
Have you got the Zuck?
30 days.
Woo! 30 days.
Do you know who we're talking to?
Rick Vaughn.
Of course.
Yeah, we're talking to Rick Vaughn.
Wild thing.
Yeah. What's up, Rick Vaughn? How are you doing?
the Red Sox version, though. Not the Indians.
Yeah, not the Auburn version. Yeah.
What did I miss with Bert, though? I didn't get to see his segment.
Bert sends his regards.
I saw the last second or two something about a bunch of dicks or something.
Yeah,
and,
there was definitely some. No, was there dicks? Did we talk about dicks? I can't remember. I don't think we talked about dicks this time. That's usually Amy Sheffield Welch.
Right.
Yeah.
So I heard Tiggy was talking about the Michigan Wolverines there for a second.
Tiggy actually, and if you remember last week, we were talking about the tweet that Shea Patterson had sent out that looked like he sent it out from his account, but the tweet contained information that made it look like he had intended to send it from a burner account.
I saw that. That was hilarious.
Shea Patterson is a great quarterback, and something about Jim Harbaugh needs to listen to me, and this, that, and the other.
And it flared some people up.
Oh, it definitely flared some people up. There were a couple of the more noticeable and more widely shared sports sites picked up on it and just kind of ran with it, and before anybody realized that it was fake. So, that I don't know. There's also, I think there's a good lesson in this, too, that, you really need to research every single fucking thing you see online these days. You have to. You can't take anything for face value anymore. You just can't.
So you don't believe that much of what you read?
No, not initially.
See, I believe everything that I read, so
and again,
that gives me an advantage over you.
And even if it's coming from a mainstream news source, I'll see the headline, I'll read the content of it, and then I'll cross-reference it. If I'm seeing the NBC, I'll go check the Fox News, and then I'll check.
Right.
One of the more centrist, like Independent or Guardian or something like that, and just kind of rotate around. Because if you do this with a story that you're really interested in, 2 or 3 different sites, you've kind of figured out where the true story lies.
But the it looked legit though, the Shea Patterson thing. It looked.
Oh God, yeah. We were talking about it like it was a real thing, and then Doug kind of came in the middle of the conversation, was like, there might be some more to that story. I can't remember exactly how you phrased it. I'm paraphrasing. But Doug kind of let me know that there was something more to it right then and there. And then when he told me off air, actually he muted it. That was the secret that we had last week. That it was definitely we knew last week that it was Tiggy Domz before all these other sites did.
But Tiggy's MO is people catching on to it, and eventually you're going to see the shit pop up, and you're going to be like, "Yeah, bullshit."
Yeah.
But hey, I've got a hot take though for the Michigan Wolverines. I feel convincingly that they're going to win the Big Ten this year.
Wow.
I really think it's just culminated to the point where they're going to get it done. They have some stellar players. They really do.
So do you think they're going into the CFP?
Well, I get, I don't know. I don't know how they could win the Big Ten. They could win the Big Ten with a blemish, but that would mean that the rest of the Big Ten would need a blemish as well. But I think they're going to get it done in the Big Ten. They could be a top 4 team at the end of the year, I suppose. Yeah. They just signed a running back last week. I can't remember his name. He's got a strange last name, but I was just watching him the other day, and he is probably he's like kind of like a Josh Jacobs. Somebody that's not being talked about a lot, but really has that star potential. Bruising running back. Are you still there?
Yeah, they're definitely going to need a good running back because I'm going to tell you, I saw Shea Patterson when he played for Ole Miss, and I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I mean,
I guess it goes as he goes. That's true.
I've got to say this real quick. If there's any admins listening right now, Brett Tierce says that he cannot comment in group, and he must be muted or something. I really don't know.
I just added him like 5 minutes ago. What the fuck? You guys need to lighten up, seriously.
But yeah, seriously, you guys don't think the Michigan Wolverines have any chance?
No, I'm not. I'm just not sold on Harbaugh. I'm just not sold on it.
I think he'll blow. I think they'll blow it. I think that.
Really?
I think it'll be similar to last year, but.
Well, that'd be the biggest disappointment in the country, probably, if they do, and I'd say that would put Harbaugh squarely.
Yeah, but
on the hot
I
seat
think
with
that's
us.
kind of how Michigan is ran for the past several years. It seems like because they've always had
True.
a very strong
True.
top 5, top 10 beginning at the beginning of the season. They just always find some way to fucking ass it up. I'm just not sold on Harbaugh as a coach. I'm sorry, I'm not. can run a great defense. No two ways around it. And Michigan has consistently finished in the top 5 under Harbaugh defensively at the end of the year, or within the top 5. But because I have to go back and actually check year by year before somebody gets all snippy in the comment section. But but no, the guy knows how to coach a great defense. Offensively, he just hasn't been able to manage it. You've got to have some kind of semblance of offense to win the Big Ten.
Well, I think they're similar to Auburn in a lot of ways. I'll say that I think Michigan will probably have a top 10 caliber defense.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
will they put it together?
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's not going to be won solely on defense alone. It's just not, and for anybody, it's kind of like, and I even hate to say this because I'm in a weird position when I do, but Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma. It's kind of, this situation kind of reminds me of that. We've seen the offense production under both of them. Now if they produce more offense where they're at, does that mean that the Big Ten defenses are softer?
Jalen will produce offense.
Does it mean that the coaches up there or the programs up there are setting their quarterbacks up with better staff around them, better receivers? I don't know. I really there's just so many question marks from what I've seen from Shea Patterson.
In the Big Ten, I think is one of those. You can't use the word weaker or and don't take me wrong, but it seems like when a Big Ten runs into one of those elite defenses, it doesn't usually turn out very well for the Big Ten.
Yep.
And I think if Michigan has that type of elite defense, then they can sneak out a few games. They can beat Ohio State, and they can win the Big Ten. But
I like Ohio State to win the Big.
I don't know what happens to Justin Fields if they don't win the Big.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they got a lot of expectations in Columbus. No doubt.
A lot. And again, going back to who I just mentioned a moment ago, the Oklahoma Sooners in the Big 12 with Jalen Hurts, they think that Jesus himself has shown up on campus.
I think Ohio State wins the Big in similar fashion as they've been doing it. I think they lose a bad one somewhere.
Well, listen, Oklahoma got the best transfer quarterback in the country, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
I do too. And look, I'm not dumping on Jalen at all, but Jalen, we've seen some very erratic play out of Jalen.
You know what? I think
we all have, particularly on the national stage. And the last game he played in, there was that moment at the end where it's like, holy shit, who's this guy? Throwing the ball and whatnot.
Well, how do you not get better at Alabama? Honestly, with their structure and facilities nowadays. Now, he'll probably get the same amount at Oklahoma. I mean, that kid can progress as long as he's given the right
Oklahoma has a outstanding facilities, outstanding resources, great coaching staff right now. No two ways around it. Now, the big question is at Oklahoma, are they going to put some kind of defense up this year? Because that's really going to be their hope. To be able to go the long haul. They may get to the semis again. Hell, who knows? But I don't know that they'll be able to progress past that point unless they fix those problems on defense.
I don't expect it. But I tell you what, I think Auburn will have a top 5 defense. I think we have the potential for a top 5 defense this year, and it kind of spills over from last year because we went into the season thinking the same thing. And the biggest difference I think though between this year and last year is we've got rangy linebackers now. I think no discredit to our linebackers last year, but Deshaun Davis and, Montavious Atkinson and Williams, Darrell Williams, they were serviceable linebackers, but they weren't the Reuben Foster types. Yeah. Or this year we're starting KJ Britt at middle linebacker, and I'll go ahead and tell you as a lifelong Auburn fan, KJ Britt's instantly become my favorite player this year. I mean, he's going to be the captain of our defense, and I think he has that potential, kind of like a Reuben Foster, that can get sideline to sideline and fill gaps as well. And it helps today. You get in matchups with tight ends, for instance. In the SEC, there's always a great tight end, Sternberger or somebody that can just eat your linebackers alive if you don't have that type of athleticism at linebacker.
Rick, do you know Kyle Woodward?
Who? No.
Kyle Woodward, you don't know?
I know who he is, but I don't know him yet.
Okay, he said Florida's going to beat Auburn senseless.
Well, that's a good game, and that's another thing. Look, being an Auburn fan is a ride. If you look at it again, this year, we're opening up with the biggest game in the country. Again.
You know, I mean, maybe not last year, but I mean, we've played Clemson, we play Alabama, Georgia every year. Open up with a big one like Oregon or Washington. I mean, you know, we have high expectations in Auburn, and it's going to be another bang, man. We're going to start it out with a bang. And
Yeah, I can relate. Alabama's got a really tough one to start at the beginning of the year. Duke.
Yeah. Hey, are y'all going to Gainesville?
Am I going to Gainesville? No.
I mean, no.
Is Auburn going to Gainesville this year?
I think, Auburn's at Florida.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
Are you going to be going?
Well, that don't mean what it meant in the 90s, but.
Can I ride with you if you're going?
I may go, I may not. You know, Florida's a pretty happening place, but I've never been to Gainesville.
They got some very pretty ladies down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, you know, another away game for Auburn this year that has extreme significance is at Death Valley again, man. We got to break that streak. This may be the year that we get past LSU. LSU may not even have a damn football team by November.
Who?
I mean,
who are you
LSU.
talking about? LSU?
Yeah.
Oh, Louisiana State University. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
They're in a little hot water right now of their own. So maybe this will be the year that we break that streak. We haven't won at Death Valley since 1999.
Well, you know, I would typically.
It's not hard to win.
I would typically not pull for Auburn. You know me, but with all that Shannon Russell has said in the last few months, I'm going to have to pull for Auburn.
I'm definitely pulling for Auburn. And then, you know, another notable thing about Auburn's schedule is to finish out the year, we have home games against Georgia and against Alabama. So that always helps. You know, if you're looking for an advantage, there it is. So, but Auburn's got an extremely tough schedule every time I look at it. I mean, the Oregon game on August 31st, 6:30 game. I guess the whole world's going to be watching. And it's going to be a big game for Auburn. I don't know if we can win. I think we'll have the better defense. I think we'll put the better defense on the field. And can we slow down Oregon enough and outscore them? It'll be a close game, I would imagine.
I think you're absolutely wrong. I think Auburn is going to come out big in that game. I really do. I think that their defense is going to give Oregon a lot of trouble.
The defense is stacked, man. With Big Derek Brown in the center, now our front four with Davidson and Coe and Brown, that's pretty tough. And then, like I said, the most revamped part of the Auburn team this year is the defense at linebacker specifically with KJ Britt and Owen Popo. I expect to play a big role, and he's another rangy linebacker that can, you know, make tackles and force third downs. And you know, ever since the 2017 season, we had an amazing season. If any of you guys watched it like I did, Jeff Holland was just.
I really don't even remember the season. Can you? Was there any other markers for that season?
Yeah, I think Alabama won the national championship.
Oh yeah,
they did. Yeah. That was the important part. I don't remember much past that.
That was the year that they got to take a week off, and then they
absolutely
went to the CFP.
Yeah.
Hey, did you think about that? Because I'm the one that actually told you that on the show. Without Auburn beating Alabama that year, Bama does not win the national championship.
Yeah.
If they beat Auburn in a close game, they go to Georgia the next week. They've got all these. They go to Atlanta next week and play Georgia. They lose to Georgia, and they do not get in.
You talking about this year?
Yep, because I think they get beat by Georgia by 2 touchdowns or more. No, I'm talking about 2017.
Well, 2017 was the year they also opened up against Florida State, though, was it not? So I mean, Alabama actually had strength of schedule on their side that year.
Right.
You know, and
I mean, Florida State didn't end up being very good, but
this year we've got a brutal schedule. We open with Duke.
Hey, you laugh about that, but what if Alabama beats Duke by 10 points and by week 10, it's the only loss that Duke has or something?
Yeah,
still
a win.
Listen, I much respect to Alabama. I'm not criticizing their wealth of talent, but the schedule this year. Specifically, this year is worse.
It's very fluffy.
Yeah,
this year.
It's got to be the worst I've seen.
Yeah,
it's the worst I've seen.
Or excuse me, we should be very clear about this. It's one of the easiest that we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have no margin of error. If they have any fuck ups, they're going to get knocked out.
They're going to have to win and win big nearly in every single game.
No, they can have some tough games, but they can't lose. I don't believe.
There's not too many tough games on that schedule.
They got to go to Auburn.
Well, that's
Auburn and LSU are really, to me, the only.
LSU comes to
LSU will.
I'm not worried about LSU as long as O's the coach.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking with Shannon Russell when I tell her that. I'm really not.
Ed Orgeron will not beat Nick Saban. I will eat my hat.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not going to all of a sudden become that coach that competes at that level, in my opinion.
True.
And the LSU, this game for Auburn is actually played in November, if I'm not mistaken, which is late in the year. We normally play LSU in the first month of the season.
Yeah, and
so
that
may be an advantage for us.
Very different environment.
Well, Rick,
you know how Auburn team is. They may come out slow, but if they get rolling after week 5 or week 6, then we can beat 2 number 1s in 3 weeks.
Well, you're also talking about a lot less humidity too. I mean,
Well, Rick, man, it was good to have you on, and we're not going to hold you to this being your Auburn segment.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll hit you.
We're going to talk about some players in depth because I think Auburn. I don't hear a lot from my Auburn fans, but I think we've got some elite talent.
We might get you on the week right before the game.
Are we still calling him Rick? Can we go ahead and call him Walter now? Or
go ahead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Walter Bryan the whole time.
Yeah. One of the only other Auburn fan in the group.
No, we got a few of them.
There actually is Sean Galooly.
Gabriel Griffin was actually commenting in the thread there.
Also,
there's about 5 of us.
Yeah.
Cody Scott.
Shannon Russell's. She's a Tiger fan, isn't she?
Let's get some other Auburn guys on. Eric or somebody can come on with me.
Eric Easterwood.
Eric Easterwood, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Talk about Auburn
we'll do that the week of the Auburn Oregon game because it'll be really fever pitch at that point. Everybody excited about it.
Oh yeah,
that'll be big time.
Yep,
big time.
All right, Walter.
All right, thanks, guys.
We're hanging up on you now.
Take care, brother.
All right, later.
That's a show.
Find Smacking Off the podcast on Facebook and on YouTube.
Tune in to Smacking Off the podcast every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Fuck each and every motherfucker who doesn't.